Yeah.
But my very first delivery was to this guy named Teddy, and man, he wanted to party. I was like, dude, I'm delivery driving. I'm driving.
Working.
Yeah, and he was like, well, tell me about this place. And I was like, dude, I have no idea about this place. This is my first delivery.
Yeah.
And then 8 hours later, 4 in the morning, my very last delivery of the night. It's clear across town. Same guy.
Wow.
Been partying all night.
Dude, just
And
need
he
some
just
more
goes,
cookies.
I get there and he goes, Cookie Man, come on in. He's like, surely you can party now, right?
Burgers, tacos, pizza. Oh my! Season 7 of the No Dishes podcast is here. Once again, brought to you by Visit Bloomington. Check them out at visitbloomington.com. Especially if you live in Bloomington, you'll find out about all this cool stuff going on around town that you had no idea about. Also, please support our other advertisers on this episode. The best way to show us some love is to show them some love. You already know what I'm going to say. Play that theme song.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. No dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine for lights and have a good time. No dishes. No dishes.
All right, we're about to get Baked of Bloomington with Jeremy and Jason, owners of Baked. Fellas, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're excited to be here. This is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm pumped. Well, I was excited when you started walking up because cha.
Yeah,
Look at these. My God, if you ever want to see me distracted on a podcast, this is the one. You guys are going to be saying some interesting shit, and I'm just going to be like, oh, sorry, I was blacked out staring at the caramel s'mores cookie.
Feel free to eat them. Eat some. I might reach over and grab one at some point.
Yeah,
You never know.
we've always talked about that. We're like, oh, because like we want to eat more, but it's the chewing sound. So like,
Yeah.
I'd have to like pull this, away.
Pull back, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how much people want to hear the noise, the disgusting noises that I make, especially when I'm as excited about something as these.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So how long has Baked been around? And the backstory of Baked, and then kind of how you guys came involved.
Good deal.
So Baked started in 2006, so 18 years ago now.
Nice.
It was started by Jared Schneider, who was just a sophomore, I believe, at the Kelly School at IU. He thought of a cookie shop as like a class project, and as he told it to us, his professor failed him and said that's the worst idea he's ever heard. That will never make
years
money.
later, yeah.
And so as young rebellious kids will do, he ran with it. I
love that.
Screw you guys, I'm gonna do this. And opened up at the end of that summer, and I got hired in August of 06, so I was like 2 months in. I was the 6th delivery driver we ever had, and then Jason ended up coming about a year and a half later or so.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So you guys both started working there before you ever owned it.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Super cool.
As substitute, I was a substitute delivery driver.
So was
I wasn't
I.
even actual.
So was I. Yeah.
I've never heard of that as a position. I like that.
Yeah.
Not just a delivery, I'm substitute.
I got called and they
Yeah.
were like, "Hey, can you cover this shift?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I came in and covered a shift, and they were like, "We don't have a position yet, but if we ever have somebody who doesn't want to work, we'll have you come in." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool." And I did that a few times, and then eventually a position opened up, and I became a full-time driver.
All right, hell yeah. So substitute delivery driver, do they like reel in the cart with the TV for everyone to watch? Just like, yeah. I didn't know how much that transferred over. So yeah, what was that like as far as your experience working there, and then the opportunity came up to where you purchased it?
Mm-hmm. It was wild those first couple of years, that's for sure. We were in this really tiny space in the 10th and College suites that was probably only 1,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, real tiny, just like a central table, and everything else was right around it, and there was just a tiny little space for customers. I think we got behind on our rent that year and maybe evicted, or there was an impending threat of it maybe. So we moved to 7th Street right by the Taco Bell, which is Now it's been kind of rehabbed into some other business suite, but it's right beside where Wildside Smoke Shop is right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we were there for a year, and then we moved over to 3rd Street, which is where most people got to know us.
The house.
The
Absolutely.
old rundown house. We love that place. And
Yeah. See, I had no idea about the first 2 locations. So that's like why I loved it. I think I know the history of a place. And then we do the podcast. I'm like, oh no, I'm dumb. There's so much I don't know. So you guys came on when it's up there at 10th and College as substitute delivery drivers. End up being permanent drivers. What were you going to say,
So
Jason?
I didn't actually start until the 3rd Street location.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I came in and grabbed an application at the grand opening of the 3rd Street.
Oh, the grand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was the grand opening.
I didn't realize
Jared,
that.
Jared had the tie on. Teddy was in there. I sat there and I talked to them about cookies for a little bit. I was kind of like, what are you guys doing here? I just like the name Baked, and I was like, I wonder what that is. I went in there to check it out, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I put in an application, and then, like maybe a week later, I got called for a substitute delivery driver position, and I did that for a couple weeks.
Tell me what your girlfriend said about not going in that day.
Yeah, we were getting ready to hang out, and she was like, "Oh, you don't have to go in." And I was like, you never know. One day I might own that place.
Oh,
and I was so currently I really wanted a different job. I was working at Steak and Shake at the time.
Okay, up on North College?
No, it was the Steak and Shake that is over by the Walmart.
Yeah, West Side. Okay, the one left standing.
Yeah, the one that's left.
Yeah.
And like that wasn't really my vibe. I didn't really like it that much. It was a job, but like I had been looking for something new, and like that's why I originally went into Baked. I was like, that sounds cool. I was like, that sounds like a place that I would like to work at. And I went in there and it was cookies, and I was like, I love cookies.
Yeah, it's
like I always love cookies.
Yeah.
And then like literally I got that call. We were sitting in the parking lot. It was just right over there off Kirkwood. And we were getting ready to head to the house and hang out. And she was like, oh, don't go in, let's hang out. And then and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I was like, I really think this is a cool job. And I was like, and you never know, I might own this place one day.
Wow.
And little did I know, I kind of was just joking. I kind of just wanted to go, get a new job, but I literally own this place now.
That's nuts.
That's wild, right?
It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
that never happens. This is like one time I put in a lot of hard work. Like I had a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work in it, and
Paid
it
off.
legitimately paid off. Yeah.
I love when I actually see that happen because it doesn't always happen. You can put in all the hard work, do everything right, and sometimes things just don't break your way.
It just doesn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I'd worked, Pizza Hut, and I had worked, a ton of different jobs, and like I was just, I was at Steak and Shake, and I was like, this is just not my vibe, man.
Just corporate. And
They wanted me to shave my beard and like shave, like even like the little soul patch. They wanted me to shave that.
But that's
off,
that's that corporate stuff.
And they wanted me to wear that little hat, and I was just like, this is not my vibe. I did it because you gotta have a job, you gotta make money.
Of course, you got bills to
pay,
pay, man, for sure.
But yeah.
Did you ever get any pictures of you in the little hat?
My dad probably has.
I was like, man, I would love to see the shaved with the Steak and Shake hat.
Oh gosh, yeah, and I didn't so I got dreads under here, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I had shaved head, whole 9 yards. It's completely different.
Just unrecognizable now. Yeah.
My dad said he came in one time and he was like, "You look miserable back then."
You're like, it's funny you say that because I am. Yeah.
Yeah, and I worked and I was just like, and it was a good job. It was it had its fun parts, but for me, that just wasn't for me.
Yeah, wasn't it? Wasn't you're paying bills, but not exactly fulfilling all the aspects that you'd like to have in a job or even a career. And
then for a while, I was working both. I was finishing out my 2 weeks at Steak and Shake, and and I was doing Baked too. And everybody was like, "So do you like it there, or are you planning on staying here?" I was like, "Nah, dude." I was like, "I'm going to Baked." I was like, "It's awesome over there."
I love that
and
one.
I loved it from the get-go.
When you first started delivery driving, did you ever have any wild story? I mean, because you're probably delivering pretty late, I'd imagine, when you first started.
4 a.m., yeah.
Yeah, so did you ever have 3:30 deliveries where you're just you come up onto a wild scene or any odd, hilarious drunken customer stories?
My very first delivery was, my very first night was very... it was very much just welcome to Baked. This is how your career is going to go, even though you don't know it.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, I was up in Indy actually recording in a recording studio with my band at the time, and I got the call from Jared because just like Jason said when he applied, Jared said, "Hey, all my positions are full, but I want to make sure I've got backups just in case." And so he called me right at the end of August, first week of school. It's like, "Hey, everyone no-showed. Can you come in tonight?"
Yeah, not one person no-showed.
Everyone, yeah. So we packed up our band's gear, and I went back down and started delivering that night. And my very first delivery was to Teddy. who ended up working for us. Teddy Jones, if you're watching this, what's up, man? We miss you.
hell yeah.
But my very first delivery was to this guy named Teddy. And man, he wanted to party. He had this substance and that drink and all that. And I was like, dude, I'm delivery driving. I'm driving.
Working.
Yeah. And he was like, well, tell me about this place. And I was like, dude, I have no idea about this place. This is my first delivery.
Yeah.
And then 8 hours later, 4 a.m, my very last delivery of the night, it's clear across town, same guy.
Wow.
Been partying all night.
Dude, just
And he
need some more
goes,
cookies.
I get there and he goes, Cookie Man, come on in. He's like, surely you can party now, right? Anyway, I get back to the store and finish up my night. And the next time I work, Teddy's there working. And he ended up being one of our main managers for like 5-6 years probably.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was
I
really
love
cool.
that.
It was really cool.
Well, hearing you just say, I have like Cookie Man, because I get that all the time. Like, ice cream man. Yeah, it's like you're not even Jeremy or Jason or Jordan anymore. You're just the Cookie Man, the ice cream man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the guy from Baked.
Yeah. I get that all the time. Like, oh, it's the bake guy. Yeah.
So back when, you're talking 06, right? When you started, is Google Maps a thing that, because I've talked with, we've talked with old school delivery drivers on here before, and it always blows my mind just having the big map on the wall or printing out MapQuest directions.
Yeah, it was 5 or 6 years before we even got a map on the wall. We used to go to mapquest.com and I would jot directions down on the back of the customer ticket, and I would, right on 10th Street, left on Grant, right on this, and just pray I got it right, man.
Because I feel like it's hard enough nowadays, even still finding certain places. Let
Some
alone
places
back in the day, trying to figure that shit out.
Especially with all these apartment complexes sprouting up, like they're all numbered in different ways and everything. They're so confusing. But yeah, I mean, at the same time though, we learned the town way better.
I bet.
I'm sure like Jeff Meese can tell you, like all his drivers at Pizza X. I drove for them for a while too.
Okay, nice.
And you make those same deliveries day after day, year after year, and you don't need a computer screen or a phone screen after a while, and you end up just driving laps around everyone that is using their phone.
I bet. Yeah. Because you're not even thinking really.
Absolutely.
It's just muscle memory. You're just going.
Yeah, especially in the middle of the night. That's what Jason and I were really cutting our teeth on when we first bought the place in 2011. Is it was just delivery was just so crazy. Yeah. So we were managing during the day, driving at night, doing everything else we could, and so it was. Yeah, sometimes we would work like Friday nights together and bring on like 2 other drivers too sometimes, and it would be like,
I take 30 deliveries.
30, 40 deliveries, 50 on a crazy night, and it was like a piece, so it was like 200, 250 a night, for the whole company. It was wild.
There were some nights there that we were leaving with like 10 deliveries at a time, and you'd get back and you'd be like, how does this keep going like this? It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
You probably made some good money.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, you're like washing dishes, you're wore out, and then it's like, all right, here's your tips, and then you're like, okay.
Makes it all work.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's why we were interested in buying it too, because like the first 5 years, I think that Jared definitely went into it undercapitalized, as most business owners do, and just was never able to kind of really get out from under that, especially with summers being so brutal and the break times, and we were so student centered in those first couple of years that we would lose 85-90% of our customers when summer started.
Wow.
And that our first full summer, it was Jason would manage all day open to close, and I would on-call delivery drive. The next day I would manage, he would on-call delivery drive. And we did that every single day that summer.
We had to make it happen.
Yeah.
And we did what we had to do.
Yeah. And sometimes sales were so terrible. We just, we'd put in 80 hours of work and get $100 for it,
That's so rough, man.
But you do what you got to do. If you love what you're doing, you do what you got to do.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I was getting at with like why we wanted to buy it. Cause like no matter what the fits and starts were in those first couple of years, every August would come and we would have like 30% more customers than we did last year. And we're like, man, I thought we lost all y'all over the course of the year when we were running 4-hour delivery times or losing handwritten tickets, and you know what I mean? And just having those growing pains that we can't handle yet. But they would come back more and more and more. And we were like, man, we have to do this. I think it could be done better. I think we can do it. Let's do this,
I love that. Well, that's, the business. You worked it. You didn't just be like, oh, this looks like a cool thing, let's buy it. You worked
we grew
it.
up
You
in
knew
it.
the ins and outs of it.
Yeah. And then we got the opportunity.
How much are you paying for your restaurant's business insurance? What's affordable for your needs? What does your agent do for you that isn't just policy writing? Tony Brown with First Insurance Group has a keen eye for the policies all restaurant owners and operators would love to have. Tony provides risk management and other HR resources free of charge as your agent. Tony has no waiting period for loss of business coverage starting from day 1, minute 1, unlike other carriers' 72-hour waiting period. Tony has no audit for liquor liability and general liability, saving you time so you can focus on running your restaurant. And Tony's insurance carrier is the preferred vendor of choice for the Indiana Restaurant and Lodging Association. Call or text Tony Brown with First Insurance Group today, 812-327-2321. Set up a free review of your current policy and see how Tony can help you protect your largest investment, your business. 812-327-2321. So it's like, I'm sure there were some surprises, but not maybe as many as some random person coming in and snatching up a restaurant. Be like, oh, it's a cookie business. What?
Right.
How hard can it be?
It's going to be easy. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Anything like that.
Yeah.
So how did that happen in 2011 when he, the opportunity came about to purchase it?
So basically, I was working there as a delivery driver, and then Jared had asked me one day, I had done some like in-shop baking and stuff. I never actually was a manager. I came basically from a delivery driver to a baker, straight to, he was like, do you want to be the general manager? And I was like, Jared, I've really never managed a place before. I never managed. I worked a ton of food service restaurants, but I had never managed a place before.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think you do a really good job. He's like, I think you can do it. So I did that for about a year. And I was doing good. I was pretty sure I was doing good. I was doing as good as I thought I was doing good.
Yeah, you were trying.
And I was trying. I was learning a lot. I had never done anything like that before. And then one day, I was on the porch, and we had that ramp porch at the old shop. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh,
we were out on the porch, and he was like, "Hey," he was like, "I think I'm gonna go back to school." He said, "Are you interested in buying it?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." I was like, "I don't know about that." And he's like, "I really think you can do it. I really would like to see you do it." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, would you have a business partner in mind? And I was like, me and Jeremy had talked about it before, and he was like, "All right, call him." Called Jeremy. Jeremy said, "Let's do this."
Yeah, I was pushing him up at Pizza X.
Yeah, he was working.
He was at Pizza X.
Yeah.
Good timing.
And then over the course of the next month, like we all got together, we talked, we got things set up, and then we went and did the Seed Corp. Remember that?
Oh man,
the Seed
forgot
Corp?
about that. Yeah.
Funny story about the Seed Corp. Here we go. You remember how I showed up? So funny story about oh, gotcha.
So the Seed Corp is this the city or the county was sponsoring this like business development course where you could go in it and sit down every week for like 8 weeks and develop a business plan, a real business plan. It was supposed to lead to funding or some sort of seed money through this program, but the money of course dried up before we got to the end of it, and he was like, "Oh, sorry, but you have a dope business plan." So,
yeah, that was cool. So, do you remember the day we showed up to go to the Seed Corp for the first day?
Oh yeah, you were underdressed.
I came and we were going to the Seed Corp, and it was like this business class thing. Jared wanted us to take it, like, cause like I was at Ivy Tech and I was going for restaurant management is what I was there for. So like that's kind of what I was into it already, but he wanted us to take this class. Well, I showed up, and I had the night before I had just put these dreadlocks in. And I had rubber bands, and they were all like, it was. He
still has them too.
It was a mess. It was a mess. When you start dreadlocks, it's a mess. I show up and I have that and a tie-dyed T-shirt and just jeans on, and Jeremy's over here in a suit, and he looks at me and he's like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "It's baked."
Yeah, you're like, yeah, we're repping the company. Like, what do you? Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not.
And then we went in there, and I would say, a lot of people were dressed like Jeremy. Most people were like dressed like business casual type. And then the next class, everybody was a little bit more laid back.
There you go.
I kind of set the tone for it a little bit. But I was super laid back when I went in there.
Yeah, hey, you're a leader.
Yeah,
that's right.
It was fun. It was fun. I remember Jeremy's face. I saw his face, and he was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Uh-oh."
It wasn't so much the wardrobe; it was the dreads. I just wasn't ready.
Yeah, I had a bake shirt on, so that's official.
Right.
I wasn't ready.
I've since come to appreciate them.
So I had a lot of hair, the night before, and then I decided to put it in dreadlocks. I was like, if we're gonna own baked, I was like, I can have dreadlocks. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, you're like one of the perks of being my own boss.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna work some 80-hour weeks to make $100, but I'm gonna have dreadlocks at least.
He's gonna do it his way.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, it's a good yin and yang too.
And I still have them to this day.
For sure. Yeah,
the partnership.
Yeah,
Jeremy,
we've always had that vibe going between us.
Yeah.
No, it's so perfect.
It's good. It makes it work. Like it makes it work.
Yeah, you don't
makes us come to some really good decisions, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
When we're working on deciding any of the serious things, we always we always both have a little bit different views on how to do it and how to get from point A to point B. But when we get there, it's well thought out, and I think it works really well.
It's one of the common themes we've had of people on this podcast is having the yin to your yang, having at least 2 people, maybe 3, that all have different perspectives and views. And we were talking about that walking in, about just getting perspective.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's what it's all about. I always like to say teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
I love it. That's, I mean, it goes back to like my O'Charlie's days, but we would say them almost jokingly, but like teamwork makes the dream work. Do it for the smiles. Like, all these like
I didn't know that one.
Yeah. Come on, guys, we're doing it for the smiles.
I was a server at O'Charlie's at one time, too.
Oh, really?
In Evansville, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
in Evansville. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first industry job in Bloomington. I transferred from the one up in Broad Ripple.
I made pretty good money there, I would say, as a server.
Yeah, it wasn't bad because I
job.
started hosting busboy, then did curbside carryout, then served and made good money.
Yeah.
Moved me behind the bar. Did really well there behind the bar.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, especially bartending, you can really build up a regular base, and you're working you have your nights, and they come in and see you. They're not coming to a Charlie's; they're coming to see their person. And then when I went to Sweetgrass, so just like with so many people, when you build up regulars, you move to your next place and they follow you there.
That's pretty awesome.
And it's so cool, and you get to know. I mean, they become family. You get to know their stories. You get to know, hey, what's going on with your kid just went off to college, or whatever's going on in their lives too. It's more than just making them a martini,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I always thought that would be a really fun job, is to be a bartender. That's one I've never done.
Dude, I talk about it. Obviously I love Chocolate Moose. I've been there over a decade, but I feel like my heart's always just been in full service.
Yeah.
Like the serving, the bartending. That's why I love talking to people like Michael and Galen from Uptown, and we had Vivi and Adam on from there too. And it's a production. It's a show. There's so much that goes into it. It's so much more than you have your people that have never worked in a restaurant, like, it's just how hard can it be to take an order and put it in a computer? But there's just so much more to it than that.
There
just
really
the little
is,
things that go into service, and the nuance that really separates, a good server from a great server, and being like giving good customer service, but still being like real and genuine. Oh yeah, and not being like fake.
Yeah, it's hard to pull off all the time.
Oh, it takes. Well, I feel like it takes years to get it down.
Yeah.
I think I've told it on here before when I first started at that O'Charlie's in Broad Ripple. And I'd worked at a laser tag place all through high school. I'd worked in MCO cafeteria, but I never really had to, like, as people were leaving or like, hey, how we doing? Like, I never just had that as an aspect of my job. And I was very timid with it. And I just sounded so fake when I did it. And this hostess that had been there forever, she was like, you sound so fake. And like, just gave me such a hard time.
Oh, man, no.
But it helped break me out of it. She was just like, you need to like, hey folks, have a nice day. Like, and you can do it and project and have that customer service voice and it still be genuine. And
absolutely.
It's possible.
We're always hitting our employees with that kind of feedback too, because we're full right now of very creative, very hardworking introverts. One of those small things you lose when the owners aren't the ones behind the counters is someone walks in and before that door's even open, you're saying, hey y'all, how's it going? It's sometimes it's just so hard to get everyone to greet everyone.
It's tough. It's tough, and you can only. As owners, especially, I'm not even an owner at the Moose, but like I have so much on my plate. I can only imagine how much you have on your plate. You can't be at the shop all the time,
for sure.
Like up front, and as far as in that capacity, like really coaching that up.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's tough to really just keep hammering that home, especially because I've been in twice now in the last week or so where I've just had a hankering and just popped on in there, grabbed a cookie or two from the case. I do have one gripe.
Oh no!
I know. I missed the chocolate milk cartons.
Oh man!
I'm sure it's a cost thing. I'm sure it's a cost thing.
That was
I totally get it.
That was kind of an agonizing decision.
I missed
for us.
that as well.
It's so funny because I thought about that. I was like, I guarantee you that they hated doing it, but like just had to.
Dude,
it's more of a hassle too because those cartons on delivery are good and solid and easy to deliver, and the cups that we switch to, like if you don't seal those right, or the lids will pop off. I have spilled the milk in my car before.
One or two.
I've heard other things, or like they splash around, and it's like
I hadn't even
perfecting
thought about
how to
it.
deliver that was. I think that was the hardest part for me, was perfecting, because I still got out and do delivery. I still manage. I still do a little bit of everything in the shop, and perfecting how to deliver those and helping everybody perfect how to deliver those.
Yeah, it's changing.
It was tough.
Making changes like that really makes me for sure appreciate, and I'm sure a lot of our really good people appreciate that. Like Jason's still working a lot of shifts with them and figuring those out. And we make a change, and he's like, "Well, I want to make sure that that happens on a night that I'm working." You know, because I want that milk to spill in my car. You know?
I want to take the first rough shift with the new stuff, so that I can troubleshoot it, so that I can give other people like, hey, this is what I did. This is how I worked through this. Yeah. Like, this is what I would suggest. And then, maybe they'll do that and they'll come back and they'll be like, hey, I did that. Like, have you tried this? And I'll be like, no, I haven't tried that. Let me try that.
That's a great idea.
And then we come to a good way to do it. And then it's like, okay, cool. That's a part of our operation now.
Exactly. Yeah. Now we're going to send this out to everyone. This is going to be implemented.
Yeah. That was, we cut our milk cost by almost 80% on that move.
Yeah.
And that
I knew it had to be purely like cost.
It's so hard with like everything, the costs are rising and everything. Like trying to keep everything, like, we've had to do a couple price raises, but like,
you guys are
we're trying to keep those in line, and not like we want to have the best product, and also we want to have like close to the cheapest product as well. Like, we want to have something good that people can still afford.
We're really busting our asses to make sure that we can be one of the most affordable cookies in town, as shops that make cookies go.
Well, and you guys, I think, you have your bakeries that do cookies, but as far as a cookie place, you're the only local one.
That's all we do.
And you're using, we've talked about it before, about you're using, I'll let you say it, the ingredients that you use, the butter, the flour.
It's just all real. There's no substitutions. There's no margarine. There's no egg replacement, unless we're making a vegan dough. And it's just don't cheap out on that stuff. And you're going to have a great product. No matter how expensive that gets sometimes.
Yeah.
And we make it by hand. We still make it by hand. We have a dough team. Like, it's like a well-oiled machine in there. If you come on Thursday, it's every other Thursday in the summertime, but during the school year, every Thursday we make the dough, and you can come watch that. And you can literally sit in front of one of those bay windows and watch the whole process, and it's me right at the table, so I'll wave at you.
Well, like old school Noble Romans.
And we make it happen. Like, you can literally look in that window. It's a big bay window. You can see the entire process.
Yeah.
Like, you can see the whole thing, from like the eggs getting added, the flour, to the mixer, to the finishing table, to it getting weighed and put in the fridge, like whole 9 yards. It just goes.
Yeah, that process has been a really big advertising point just in and of itself. Because if you're telling someone about this cool cookie place, you'll say, oh yeah, and they make all the dough right next door. You can watch them do it. It's really cool. And we'll crank out, in the next couple of weeks, we're getting ready for the IU semester to start and all that. We're gonna crank out almost 10,000 pounds of dough in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
It's crazy. I think this episode comes out the Tuesday of Welcome Week.
Oh, perfect.
I'm pretty sure. Perfect. Yeah.
So come by on a Thursday and see us.
No, I didn't think it wasn't even intentional, but I was looking at it. I was like, oh, that's perfect, because you guys are pretty student centric, not as much as you used to be. Yeah. But obviously, like, a large part of your business is students.
It's a lot. It still is a lot, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've.
I don't know what percentage it would be, but it'd be a nice large chunk of it.
Yeah. It kind of hovers between 40 and 60% students. Based on the year, I think we're probably skewing maybe slightly more towards local folks this year.
That's great.
That's a huge achievement for us, just having one product essentially. So
So how did you accomplish that from your first summer as owners? Where you've got almost no business all summer, and you realize we are very reliant on the students. We can't continue to be this reliant on the students. How did you go from that to 13 years later to where now over half is maybe more locals?
We probably have different answers on this one.
Yeah.
Perfect. I like it.
I think we just kept the customer service good and just kept doing what we do. And then, like, our delivery service, we go, and we have a large delivery range. We go all the way to Curry Pike. So we get most of that west side area.
Nice.
And we go about as far north as you can go, and then south all the way to Roar Road.
Yeah.
And then all the way to 446,
446,
yeah.
Okay, man.
446. So we have a large delivery zone.
It's like 95% of like the town proper. Yeah.
When the students leave, we're able to get out to those places much faster because we're not doing so much campus. So we made sure in the summer to really hit it hard and focus on keeping that customer service up.
Definitely.
And I did a lot of delivery in the times when we first started in the summer. So I really focused on trying to make that happen.
Yeah. And I think kind of what my answer would be is that customer service approach definitely went hand in hand with our marketing approach as well. Because with being so undercapitalized those first couple of years, we were so lucky that, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, those kinds of things came up, and businesses got on there, and, we were able to get our message out for free, essentially.
Yeah.
And the same thing went with customer service. If we mess up your cookies, it's kind of hard to get the culture of the kitchen thinking this way, but if we mess up your cookies, like, let's double, triple that order and give them a credit for next time too.
Yeah, over the top.
Yeah, heck yeah, because we don't need you just thinking we're a novelty. We can't get your shit right, or it takes too long to get everything there. We want you happy with the experience, whether we did great or whether we didn't do great. So that's, we were really aggressive on the customer service, and same with marketing. We didn't have money to sponsor this, that, or the other, or do print ads or anything like that. It was all about just getting cookies in people's hands. So we, nowadays we're lucky we have a donations coordinator, and actually a dedicated email address, which was a serious quality of life improvement for us. For donation requests and that kind of stuff. But we used to just say, like, to any of the managers, hey, if anyone comes in and has any sort of event going on, whether it be Greek life or any of the the fun runs around town or anything like that, let's get our cookies there. Let's just see what we can do to get our logo and our cookies there, and just not stop, and that's all what we've done. And that's kind of what's morphed or evolved into Free Cookie Friday, that Jason and Sadie are doing every single week.
That's awesome.
And that's still a huge part of our marketing. We're now getting into more paid marketing or more kind of traditional avenues and that kind of stuff. Because we kind of think the free handouts for a cookie shopper are kind of over now that we have a couple more competitors in town and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But free cookies are probably still 80% of our marketing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well,
that was huge.
You read my mind. I was going to ask about, moving that into food. Free Cookie Friday. Better business, better community. For over a century, the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce has been a cornerstone of business growth and community development. They are dedicated to helping local businesses thrive. Their business is all about your business. Join the chamber today. Call 812-336-6381 or visit chamberbloomington.org to learn more. Jason, can you tell us a little bit about how that's been going?
So Free Cookie Friday just kind of happened, and it's been going great. But so kind of how that started is I've always done these little marketing days where I would come in and make a bunch of cookies and walk around and just hand them out to people. I never filmed it or never did anything like that. And then when we started working with Sadie was like, we should film that, And then we went out and we happened to go out on a Friday one day. And I walked up to a counter somewhere and was like, oh, it's Free Cookie Friday. And I was like, both of us were like, we got to do Free Cookie Friday.
There's something there. Yeah.
And then ever since that day, it was maybe the second time we had went out and done that. We made it always on Fridays. We even were like, that's like a busy day. Can we handle that on Fridays? You know what I'm saying? And we were like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And we've done it every Friday since. And
it's been going for at least several months now, right? 6 months or so?
About a year now, I think.
Yeah, about a year.
I knew it'd been a while. Yeah.
And it's like we kind of we put it out on the internet and people tell us where to go. And sometimes there's a theme to it. And sometimes it's just hey, if people at a business, or last week we did construction workers. We just walked around and handed out to construction workers.
Yeah, it's been huge for us. And we're still super early in that whole process. So I don't even think we've really seen the maximum return from it yet, or the full response. And I was just I was having a big realization with Jason a couple weeks ago that hey, once we're ready to expand and maybe go up into the Indy area, we could bring Free Cookie Friday up there for the 6 months prior to us opening.
Oh,
and, you know what I mean? And we can put cookies in every business's hands within 5 miles of the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before we even open, so I think that we can really take that kind of grassroots, we don't have enough resources, so we're just going to work with our product, kind of style, straight to expansion and into bigger things, so.
Yeah, no, that's so I don't think people understand how many different events go on in Bloomington and surrounding communities that ask for donations.
Oh yeah.
It's not a bad thing because we don't say no. Jacquemus, we don't really say
you
no.
guys are everywhere.
We're
I don't know how you do it.
You guys are everywhere.
You really
we're
are.
because I handle all those. And so when you said a separate email, I'm like, yeah, that'd be kind of, I've got my personal one and then I have the one through the website. And so almost all donations, 90% come through the website.
Once you split it off, you're not even going to want to do it anymore. You're going to be like, I got to hire this out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just be like, hey, here's kind of the standard donation. But a lot of times it's silent auction, $25 gift card, or or we're doing free cone cards or torch cone cards, depending on the age group of the kids. But it's like, it's cool. It's awesome. I mean, you guys are the same as Chocolate Moose, where it's like, we're not like, we're a business, but like we're community partners.
You have to be,
you know, especially,
yeah.
Chocolate Moose have been around for so long, before any of us were born, where I'm just like, oh, they've been donating to this church, you know, a tub of ice cream or something super simple since the 70s or so. It's like, we're not going to not keep that going.
Yeah. You don't throw out those relationships. Yeah.
So it's, it is really cool to just like be able to be that involved, to have ownership, to shout out Lovey, that, you know, enables me to say yes to all of these. Every now and then I'll have one that's like an indie, that's a silent auction. I'm like, sorry, we got to focus on things a little closer.
Yeah.
Sure.
We have a lot of those that are indie based, but they're doing like Brown County getaway packages.
Oh, nice.
You know,
That's
so I'm
cool.
like, all right, we'll
that
do
makes
that.
sense.
That's cool.
That ties
We
right
want
in.
them coming by.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome that you guys have done that, and you see, like you said, you don't even see the full ROI on it yet.
Not yet,
because it
no.
just takes time. You just have to sow the seeds, and just you know that people are going to see that you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart, but it's also marketing.
Definitely.
And that's eventually going to kind of come back around. And when people have that sweet tooth craving, they're like, oh yeah, those guys, they gave us some free cookies. I'm hitting them, my boys over at Baked, you know?
And then you get that craving because you've actually had one too.
Uh-huh.
I always say you can tell people. I can always tell people that we make the best cookies ever. But until you try one, I'm just telling you that once you try one, you try that and you know it, or you can make your own decision on that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Have you guys, so obviously we've got these that are insanely visually appealing, but you know, you mentioned the rise of social media since you've owned Baked. You see, I'm sure you see them, but I see them all over Reel where people are like, oh, look at these like super like big customizable.
You can name them if you want. You can name them if you want.
No, I didn't even mean them. I just mean like other, maybe even small cookie shops across the country.
Sure, yeah.
Have you ever thought about like, oh, let's go bigger, or better, or have you just been like, no, this is what's gotten us here?
So we do like if you come in and you check out the display case, we do a larger size cookie now. And we couldn't think of a name for it, and we were like calling them fancy cookies, and we were like, what should we call these things? You know, these are the fancy cookies. And we're like, just call them fancy cookies.
I love it.
It goes
Yeah.
right with the brand. It's easy. It's simple. It's
I actually I grabbed one of those one of those 2 times I came in, and it was oatmeal, cream cheese frosting, cheesecake bites. That you just ran, I think, last week.
Nice.
Yeah, and they're so good.
Those have been huge for us. Those fancy cookies. Yeah. I mean, the Crumble came in and set up the market for those for sure. And we thought, well, we've got all the tools and equipment and product already, so we might as well see exactly how strong that market is. And it's been good for us.
Strong.
Yeah, it's been good for us. Yeah.
Well, and I know Sadie does a good job of putting them out there.
Oh, she's awesome.
With the slides and the different backgrounds. And I'm like, okay. I was like, I see you, Sadie.
Yeah.
And she's been a big help.
Absolutely.
How long have you guys been working with her?
Social media for
About a year.
Okay,
Yeah. We were one of her first clients, I think, when she went
as
on
far
her
as I
own.
know,
We were just kind of talking to her when she ended up going solo, and I was like, what are you going to do? And we had, our social media presence has always been lacking, or maybe could be improved upon, especially with how we really like to do like kind of edgy marketing, and people generally have just nothing but really great vibes for us, so like that's what you take advantage of on social media. But like we've always had usually in the past we would find a manager that was maybe 3rd or 4th or 5th kind of in the seniority ladder, that was looking for a little bit more, and we would kick social media over to them for a higher pay rate, and that worked really well sometimes and not so well in other times. And overall it worked well, but then when that person would move on or move away, we would have this 3-4 month hole in our social media, and there's just no excuse for that. You know what I mean? Yeah, especially when that's your main source of getting your message out. So Sadie and us just started talking, and she, she's like, well, I'm thinking about, just doing social media full time. And I was like, well, I literally could not find a better person for that. I mean, she knows everybody in town and on a great professional level. And she's a master on her phone, a wizard on her phone or whatever, and so it's been a fantastic relationship for us.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. We were talking, her episode just came out today. She started the Foodies group, which is how everyone found out that I ate all the time, and then the podcast started. So I do feel indebted to Sadie for a while, and I know she just picked up Buffalo's and Gable's Bagels.
Yeah, it's gonna be big.
Yeah.
I was like, man, between those two and you guys, I was like, man, she's getting the names. I'm waiting for her to be like, hey, Jordan, what's Chocolate Mousse doing? But
She will eventually.
I she will.
No, we're really lucky with Caleb. He does a great job for us.
Yeah,
And, he does Bloomington, as of a few months ago, started full time doing the Bloomington Parks and Rec.
Oh, no kidding.
Social media.
Ooh,
So
that's really cool.
It's nice.
Heck
He
yeah.
only does 5 to 7 hours a week for us, but just does great content and really high
heck yeah.
quality. And he's got his main job. And it's because I was worried because I put in a positive reference. We're like, yeah, dude, we want you to do what's best for you. And if this is a 40-hour a week job with benefits, like, we're not going to ever hold that against you
Get
when
what
you
you
don't
need,
have that to offer, you know? So it's really worked out perfect. And just having that person that you can lean on social media, not that constant turnover. Because before Caleb, it was all me. And I would go 2 months sometime without posting it on Instagram because I've got all these other things on my plate.
Way too easy to find something more important to do.
And it's not cool to do that. Like you said, it's not cool when like that's your main, because we don't really spend much on marketing or advertising either. So it's like, you got to rely on that social media to get it out there. And, it's tough to prioritize like you should sometimes.
It is.
I tried to do it for a while too, and I feel you on that. And Jeremy would always get on me. He'd be like, "Yeah, you're doing good. You got to more posts." And I'm like, I'm going to, and then it would be like, a couple weeks, and he'd be like, hey, it's been a couple weeks, post something.
Yeah. And I was doing it before that, and he was like, I'll do it. And I was like, thank God, take this from me, man. And then he hated it too.
So
I liked it, but it's hard. It's hard to continuously do that. And then I'm working, and then I'm doing so many other things. It's really nice to have somebody who is dedicated to doing the social media. And if I have an idea, Sadie can bring it to life, or if nobody has ideas, Sadie always has ideas, and it's like
and
it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's been one little hidden characteristic that I've discovered about taking it outside of the company to a third party is that anytime we have an idea for something, it's okay, let's do it, instead of I don't know if that's going to work with what we've got going on right now. We're a little busy right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More of like
cool.
encouraging and
Sadie will make it happen.
Well, and what might take you an hour takes someone that's dedicated to that craft 15 minutes
for sure.
Totally.
It's not quite the undertaking to you when you're also up to your head and a million other
exactly.
I'm trying to write quotes and I'm like erasing it like 15 times. And I'm like, hey guys, does this sound right? Walking to everybody that I work with.
Well, the big change for me was because I did the social media at Sweetgrass, did it at Chocolate Mousse, my whole time there up until probably a couple of years ago, which I still every now and then make a post or do something. But the big change was TikTok. Once it started doing reels and videos, I could make a funny little video or a post and felt pretty good about what I was doing, or the food pictures.
I know where you're going with this.
Once they start doing like the TikTok style reels and videos, I'm like, bro, I know none of
You can't keep up with that, man. We're too old.
I'm 34. I'm 30. Maybe 31 at the time.
Yeah, we're just too old.
Just old and out of touch, dude.
We had our most recent manager who was on social media. She moved back up to Crown Point, I think, but she's still in touch with a lot of people that work for us. And I was doing it right after her, and every single time I'd put up a post, our general manager Stephanie would be like, "Hey, she said you need to look less old." I was just like
what? I'm young.
I did a good job at that. And she'd be like, well, look at this wall of text you left.
Like you didn't use a single emoji.
How do you guys convey your messages? This is impossible.
You put a location, you need to use the red pen. It's like, I don't know this shit.
You didn't put any songs behind it. How do I do that?
Yeah, it's like, why'd you put Hall & Oates? It's like, what?
It's like, what's wrong with that?
Just whatever was on the computer when I was filming in the shop, man.
Oh, it's so funny. I'm sure you guys get it, just where our staff keeps us young. Because I'm like, our staff is all high schoolers and IU students, 95%.
For sure,
at the Bloomington store. Brown County, I got some people more my age, but Bloomington is like, I'm always keeping up on the new terminology and every year feel older and older.
I try to quickly adopt the terminology so that they will then just get
stop
rid of
using
it.
it. They're like, as soon as Jeremy uses gas, they never use it again.
Time to cut that out.
Yeah, man, that's lit. That's dope.
Well, I think I said, I'll say something was fire, but my staff, they swear that one time I said flame. And I was like, I promise you, I did not say something was flame. And they're just like, no, like you said something was flame. I'm like,
I would believe that that's a word.
Yeah,
it sounds legit.
anytime I stumble over my words, they'll just like, there's one time I forget what I was trying to say, but I accidentally said fart. And they're just like, oh, fart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
That's true.
Yeah.
I get that a lot since I work with everybody in the kitchen a lot still.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always saying random stuff, and they're like, what? Or
Huh?
I say word. I'm like, word. And they're like, word? You can't say that.
No, I got detention once for saying word up.
Really?
Word up.
7th grade history.
I say that all the
remember
time.
this.
Yeah, me and Jeremy say word a lot.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I'll say
word.
heard like you know, very much restaurant lingo.
Yeah,
like,
heard
I
stuff.
hear you, gotcha,
Heard, yeah.
heard. But I just like was in this phase in 7th grade. I can't remember the teacher's name. I could picture her, and I just would say word up to everything. And I forget what I don't know. I was being a class clown. She was talking. I said word up, and she's like, Jordan, if you say word up one more time, I'm going to have detention. And without thinking, I must have just said word up to
like,
that.
word, yeah.
And I'm just like, and so I'm like, come on.
Just give me
And I
the
was like, I
detention.
didn't mean to. It just came out. Like, I'm not even trying to be a rebel.
Sometimes those words you get in your lingo just do that.
I was just
you know?
trying to confirm that I heard her, and my way of doing that at the time
Was
was
saying
the
word
thing
up,
she was
yeah.
disciplining me
Yeah.
for. Yeah.
I could see that happen. I could see myself doing something like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't even trying to be cool or a rebel; it just happened. But
Yeah.
you were talking about your staff being like a lot of creative introverts, and we're talking about having all these college kids kind of working for us. You guys, what I've always loved, and I feel like we do a lot of the same at the Moose, but maybe not quite as much because we have a little bit more of a uniform. But you guys are really great with just allowing your staff to express themselves and it really be a creative place where it just seems like very accepting to all walks and all types of people. Is that just something you kind of set out to do or just kind of happened organically?
Just kind of happened. I would say it just happened organically.
Yeah.
We just Baked is a place for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always has been, and we've always kept it like that. And
Yeah. Well, and sorry.
we love everybody, you know?
Yeah, we do.
Like if you like cookies, come on in. If
Absolutely.
you need a job and you like cookies and you're willing to work and put in the work, like bring it on.
Only people we don't welcome are people that don't like cookies.
Yeah, if you don't like
if you
cookies,
don't want to work.
it's probably not your place. Yeah, and if you don't want to work, it's not.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It's
like a
hard
lot of
work,
people come
yeah.
in and find out it's a lot of work, and they're like, "This is a real job," and I'm like, "It is."
Yeah.
We get that with scooping, man.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
they're like,
Oh, I
ice
bet.
cream shop, that'll be an easy job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
heck yeah.
worst is in interviews when people are like, oh, it seems like a chill job.
Oh,
And like they don't even mean
yeah.
it like punny, but
Yeah.
they just generally mean like, oh, I want a job where I don't have to work.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it just seems really chill. I'm like, well, it's not. I mean,
like-
it is to a degree.
It gets busy though.
Yeah.
But like, we
heck
get hammered, and there's a reason the other homemade ice cream places in town don't let you blend homemade ice cream. We're the only one that lets you do it.
Oh, really?
So like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dang, that's cool.
scooping a 32-ounce milkshake or a Blizz.
just like scooping chocolate chip cookies, man. It's,
Oh yeah, and it's,
We call it the arm
builds
breaker.
it up,
Yeah.
and it's like I feel bad because I know sometimes I'm scooping and it's tough for me, and I'm looking at someone a third my size trying, and I just like just keep at it.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
all you can do. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's a funny story too that'll take us all the way back to the beginning of
Perfect.
this episode too. Is when Jason came in for his interview when you were first getting hired. There happened to be a manager meeting happening at that time, so there was like 8 or 9 of us, and Jared and the general manager at the time, Rob, was like, "All right, so why do you want to work here?" And he goes, "Seems like a really chill place."
Yeah.
And it was like tomatoes and popcorn were being thrown at him, you know. And
I
we
was
were
like-
just like,
I
get out
got
of
some
here.
looks and I was like, "Uh-oh."
Well,
I was like, I said the wrong thing.
I will
like-
say he had the best recovery I think I've ever seen in an interview, though. He was just like, no, let me start over.
Yeah.
It's like,
I saw the
You
looks.
saw
I
the
saw the looks, and I was
reaction,
like, "Wait!" I was like, "I didn't mean it like that."
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is I can tell when someone means like, oh, it's chill, as in it's not a big corporate job. I feel
That's
like,
what I'm-
where I'm not going to
yeah.
be micromanaged.
yes, it's
But-
I can watch all this burn during a rush and be okay. I'll still
Correct.
be here.
Or the
Yeah.
people, I can tell when they
Yeah.
say it's how they say it of like, oh, it seems like a chill job, as in I don't want to do any work. Because there is
Yeah.
the two different meanings, like how you meant it. Like it seems like a chill,
I want
cool
the chill
place to work.
atmosphere.
Yes.
But
I wanna, like-
I'm still going to bust my ass and work.
Yes.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny that
Yeah.
you said that.
Yeah, it's so funny. But
I saw everybody's face, and I was like, the looks. I was like, "Ooh, I said something wrong." I was like, "Uh-oh."
Like, no.
Yeah, I immediately was like, "Hey, this is what I mean, y'all."
yeah.
Hey, that's good. That's a skill in its own is being
Yeah.
able to read the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think the way Jared was really envisioning this place when he first started it was, and he used to tell us all this too. That's the way he kind of roped us all into really wanting to be at Baked, for life. Was he would just tell us, well, you can go as far as you want with Baked, and you can take it to another city too, and you can run one over there, and this place is still finding its roots, its vibe, its culture, and every city that we're in is going to make the store look and feel and behave a little bit different.
Yeah.
And you know, so that's a big problem. You know, zooming out, that's a big problem for us in terms of envisioning our future growth and that kind of stuff. You know, do we keep it corporate owned so we can really control that stuff, or do we make it franchised? But you know, how much control do we give to other people that are buying in, and that kind of thing. But that really that reverberates straight to just letting our staff and our customers just be who they are when they're there. You know, it's I don't understand why you would have it any other way. And you know, we're definitely kind of boxed in as well by not being able to pay like top of market for these positions.
Right.
You know, so we pay as much as we can, and we're constantly giving raises and that kind of stuff. But you can probably go to Pizza X or go serve somewhere at one of these busy restaurants and make a little bit more money. So we want you to be comfortable while you're here. We want you to want to be here and want to come in at 9 p.m. for a 9 to 5 a.m. shift. You know what I mean? Like,
I totally get that. I wish it kills me not being able to offer more for starting wages at Chocolate Mousse. But we're already, you know, you got your food costs, your overhead. You being
so seasonal too.
And like, and we can only charge so much for a cup of ice cream, and we still want it to be approachable and affordable while still being high quality. So you have to make up for it another way. We have very low turnover, but you could go make more money serving tables or bartending. And I talk to some of my staff too sometimes when they think about it. I'm like, dude, if you need to go do it. Like I'll use my connections in town, whatever I can to help you be happy and succeed. But we have such low turnover because again, we're letting people enjoy working there. And that's something where like you recognize, okay, hey, we can't do this, but we can make up for it in this way. Yeah. To at least make this business function as it should.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
The No Dishes Podcast is brought to you by visitbloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurant and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes Podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town. So you mentioned just progress and growing. Is that something you've brought it up a couple different times now, potentially moving to Indy or franchising? Is that something that is on your near future radar, or just something that you've talked about for a while and whatever kind of happens?
Say it's on the near-ish future. It's something that we've talked about a lot, and it's something that we've looked into, and it's something that we're definitely interested in. Probably first before franchising, we'll probably have to do some company stores, and we're always looking for people who are interested in that and talking to it and seeing who's interested in working in it and seeing what kind of deals or what kind of partnerships or what kind of things we can work out. But I mean, that's something that we're moving towards. We're not going to rush it.
Yeah, that's smart.
I mean,
but I want to let it happen organically and find people who really want to do it and really want to be part of the business. Yeah. And then talk about, hey, is it going to work? And then, give them all the facts and if they want to get in, we're almost getting to a point where we're ready to do that. I would say we're not quite there yet, but we're really close, and we've done a lot of talking about it, and we have a lot of ideas. Nothing like solid yet, but it's something that we're working on.
Yeah, you're good. We've been talking a lot to our attorney and our accountant and that kind of stuff. Because we are always looking for opportunities in Bloomington to grow for sure. We always will, no matter where we are in business. But we've kind of all decided that we definitely need to start growing. And I think that I'm very confident that we're going to end up being the only cookie company in Bloomington in a couple of years. But I think that there's much bigger opportunities for us in Indy or Louisville or elsewhere. Yeah. And the professionals that are in our corner are saying, you're absolutely there. You're to a point in your cost structure where, if you can find a way to have that huge year in sales, that's all going to go to the bottom line, and you guys are going to be invincible after that. I love that. Yeah, for sure. So, our accountant, our longtime accountant, just retired a year or two ago, but he came up through Noble Romans in their accounting department, so he was just dialed into restaurants forever. And he told us, go to Indy and get that busy store, go to the suburbs and put in that little tiny store as well, and supply all of it from Bloomington. And then once you set up that little network, that's when you can say, hey, who else wants to do this in another city?
I love that.
Yeah. And so we envision the value at Baked in terms of what other people get when they buy into us. What that's going to be is in that entire network. So I don't want to just sell you one store on the north of Indy and then sell someone else another store on the west side of Indy, you know, and someone else one in Carmel and that kind of thing. I would love to lock in territory rights to someone that wants to grow the brand throughout their entire metro area and suburbs and everything, so that they become, you know, they start and they're making their dough in their store, and then they open up a couple more and they move that dough making to a warehouse and they are supplying that themselves as well. So that's kind of what we would like to do, is make them owners in their own right and be able to grow as they need it and as they see opportunities that they know better about because they're there and we're not.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, they know the market.
That's
yeah,
our
they
hope.
live there. Yeah. Well, thanks for being so transparent about that. Cause it's, you know, we opened up our second location in Brown County 8 years ago, but we still have been not until the last few years really figured out profitability where we could drive revenue like crazy. Yeah. We could always grow revenue, but our costs would go right with it.
Absolutely.
We were always breaking even. And I'm like, what in the world?
It's so tough. Yeah.
And so that, it sounds like you guys might even be a quote unquote ahead of where we are, to where we're still trying to get that dialed in to where year over year, okay, we do have this percentage of profitability that's going to, you know, we're going to make 10% of revenue or 20% if you ever got to that point.
Yeah.
But
Gosh,
I know. Yeah. I'm just over here dreaming.
Yeah, right. I'm dreaming with you. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Because I've talked about that with our ownership about like, yeah, it'd be so cool to franchise some of these out, or like, you know, we opened up our third location connected to Buffalo Louie's. That was super small. So it's so different than the other two stores. So it didn't really make sense like we thought it might have. And we tried making that really a coffee
really
shop.
Cool idea though.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
a great location. We just couldn't, we sell a ton of coffee in Brown County. But in Bloomington, we are a ice cream brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and so just to try to get people to come to the Chocolate Mousse at 8 a.m. for an Americano was tough. That was a tough sell.
We talk about that kind of thing all the time. And we're always, to be honest, we're always kind of watching your guys' growth and watching your guys' strategy too. Because, you know, we've got, you know, symbiotic products.
Very similar,
you know, and I think one thing we really haven't taken advantage of is like the mobile vending. And I see you guys just bringing carts everywhere. And I'm like, dang, we got to figure that out. Like that's awesome. I'm sure it doesn't make you a crazy amount, but a little bit from here, a little bit from there, you know,
it's solid. There's a lot that goes into it. You know, we have the warehouse where we keep all the carts, but that's also our production warehouse where we're making all the ice cream that goes out to the two different stores. And, you know, we're making the half pints, and events have been really good. We have grown it. That's definitely the thing that, you know, it kind of goes hand in hand with Food Truck Friday because we sell at Food Truck Friday. Yeah. But that's been something where, you know, every welcome week we're doing more and more than the welcome week before, as far as events with different schools. And it used to just be Jacob School and Kelly School, but now we're getting School of Education and Media School. And in Bloomington, being a go-to caterer for the different schools on campus is so huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you just have to build that relationship. And I know you guys get a lot of those too. But you guys could definitely get some cookies out there more. You came to Food Truck Friday and set up.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun.
We'd love to be there more, honestly. Yeah. We've been talking a lot about mobile vending, and you guys are going to be at the IU football games, right? This year? So are we. So
nice. Hell yeah.
Because we got locked in on there finally.
We used to do those. And then last year, they're like, hey, how about you just drop the carts off to us and we'll sell it? And we're like, oh, this is great. Well, like, we don't have to worry about setting up, tearing down, getting there 3 hours before kickoff. But I don't know how they marketed it or sold it. But it was way less than we did when we did it ourselves.
Interesting.
So we're back to doing it ourselves this year with Levy.
I mean, we're going to be doing it ourselves. We're going to be there every time ourselves. So,
sweet. Yeah. I just talked to them
we're going to be baking on site and everything. So
okay. I had no idea. Well, that's a huge announcement. Baked at IU football games.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
right. We're like underplaying that a little bit. Like that's like news.
The whole thing has kind of been underplayed for us. You know, we were given this opportunity by another restaurant that was going to be in it. And so I hit them up. I hit up Levy, and he was like, yeah, actually, let's meet. And then he ended up having to cancel the meeting. And then we just kind of lost track of each other for a month. Yeah. And then I was talking to Sadie the other day, and she's like, yeah, Buffalo Louie's is going to be there. Chocolate Mousse is going to be there. And I was like, oh crap, I
need
need
to
to dig
follow
up
up.
that email.
Yeah.
And I did, and he hit me back 5 minutes later. He was like, I'm so glad you hit me up. That's my bad. And no, that's my bad. I shouldn't have, that's an opportunity for us. So I need to be chasing it,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's cool that they're bringing in all these local brands. The percentage they're taking is a little higher than I would like, to say the least. And there's definitely a lot of really good people that we've worked with over the years, and I'm super grateful for that aren't with them anymore.
Yeah.
So it's tough where you're like, man, you're happy that they're making this effort to bring in local people, but then you feel bad about the people that you've worked with for years that have lost their jobs because of the switch, and then they're taking this percentage, but you're excited to be involved with IU athletics. So it's just all these mixed emotions that go along with it. So,
yeah, definitely. Big opportunity though. So we're excited for
That
it.
is a
massive
opportunity.
We had to talk.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We had to talk logistics off camera.
No,
So.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that with a few of my friends that are partnering with them or had talked to them and didn't end up doing it about like, hey, what they ask for this? Cool. Well, let's, we've got a little bit of time left. I want to get really briefly both of your backstories. Cool. We didn't talk about where Jason came from, where Jeremy came from. You told us a little bit about working at Pizza Hut, but where are you from originally, and kind of what got you up to the point where you were working at Steak and Shake?
So originally, I was born here in Monroe County. I was born at Monroe County Hospital, the one that they just tore down.
Okay. I
was born there, and then my parents split when I was young, and my dad lived in Evansville, and my mom lived here. I went to school here till about the second grade, I would say, and then I moved with my dad in Evansville, and I did high school and did everything in Evansville, and then I came back down here to go to school at Ivy Tech. And, I came and stayed with my mom, and I worked at Pizza Hut, had a job, and wasn't for sure what I wanted to do. Was kind of just getting some of my basic classes out of the way. And then decided to go into restaurant management. I had done a ton of restaurants. I've worked so many restaurants all over the place. Like, that's what I did in Evansville. That's what I did here. I did a couple factories. I didn't really like that. I always have liked restaurant,
Yeah.
I always liked, there's food around, and there's, there's always kind of food and food trades, and I love to eat. That's like my favorite thing to do. So I've always loved to do that. And then, I got a job at Steak and Shake. I was just looking for a job, got a job at Steak and Shake, and I'd been working there for probably about a year. Okay. And I was just like, I got burned out on it, and I was just like,
pretty quick.
This is just not my thing.
The shaving and the hat.
Yeah, and all that. Like, I always liked having long hair, and I liked growing a beard and go I always like doing something different.
Did you work at any other restaurants in Bloomington that we might know or that you haven't mentioned?
At the Pizza Hut, the one that's over by the McDonald's, over off of what is that?
Pete Ellis.
No.
No, you're West Side.
On West Side, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I forget the name of that road, but
Franklin, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
And I worked there for a while. It was an awesome job. It was fun, but I got burned out on that as well.
Yeah, dude, I love there's still like some nostalgic Pizza Huts that are like the old school where they do a buffet.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard there's one in Paoli, but I haven't confirmed it. Where it says Pizza Hut Classic, but I think it's still like the new menu. But I've heard that there's like a classic Pizza Hut in Paoli. I could be wrong, but I want to make a little.
It ought to be
road trip down there.
It ought to be about time for them to bring those back, right?
Dude, well, that's the thing. I mean, they're
they
not
can cash in on that.
as a company, they're not doing great. So you might as well just lean into the '90s nostalgia
Dude,
and make that your
love
brand.
That. I feel like people love that.
Oh, I'd go pretend I read $5 for a free personal pan again. You know what I mean?
The one on Franklin still has the buffet. I don't know if they ever had a buffet on it, but the little table is still there.
Have you ever seen the thing where the largest purchaser of kale used to be Pizza Hut to decorate their buffet?
No way.
Before it became like a hip thing to eat.
Yeah.
They were the largest purchaser of kale because they just used it as decoration.
I bet the price of kale has gone up since then.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeremy, what about you, man? What's your background?
Sure. So I am originally from Illinois. I was born in Evanston and lived in the Chicagoland area for most of my life until coming to Bloomington. We lived in Palatine, Illinois, and then my dad worked for Amoco Oil Company, actually, in downtown Chicago. BP bought them out right about the year 95 or so and transferred him over to Whiting, Indiana. So we moved to Indiana in 96, to Chesterton, Indiana. It's in the Northwest, in the region, so they say. Went to school from 9 to graduation, to graduating high school, and then came to IU for college in 05. I've worked surprisingly few jobs compared to Jason, being opposite, us being opposites as we are.
Yeah, really.
So I mean, my first job was corn detasseling when I was 12 or 13.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
I just watched a video on that because I wanted to do that. And I'm so glad I didn't, from what I've heard.
Should be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of words you can use to describe it, and none of them are culturally sensitive. It's. I mean, yeah, they send a scout, some farm scout to your school when you're getting into 6th grade, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And they recruit you and all your friends for the summer. And we used to have to go to Valpo High School at 5 a.m. to get picked up by a bus, and then bust to an hour away to Plymouth, Indiana. And we'd be wearing trash bags as ponchos because we're out there by 6:37 in the morning, and the corn is just full of dew and full of these beetles and everything. Oh my God! Our job is just to ride these tractors and tear the top tassel off the corn and just drop it on the ground all day long, all summer long.
That's nuts. I just remember wanting to get in the workforce early, and like before you're 14 and could technically go, like you could do corn detasseling.
Yeah.
And I remembered calling and left a couple voicemails and never heard back.
Oh, you pursued the job.
I did, yeah.
They didn't take you up on it?
I know, yeah, it worked out.
Yeah.
From what I've heard as the years have gone on, I've lucked out because I heard it was a terrible job.
It teaches you grit, I would say. Because and you miss a tassel, and there's guys, older folks like teenagers, walking the rows behind you, getting all the ones you miss, and they'll just throw them at you, to teach you a lesson. So you learn to just shut up and keep working. And it was the worst. And I spent all of my earnings on a BMX bike at the end of the summer.
There you go, nice.
And I was so proud of myself.
Yeah.
And then I went to work at Dairy Queen once I finally got my driver's license.
In Chesterton?
In Valpo.
Okay,
next town over. Yeah. Worked at a nursing home in the kitchen for a while as well. That was probably the worst job I've ever had. Worse than detasseling.
Really? Okay.
It was bad. Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. And
I won't ask any questions.
And I tell you what, I'm getting in there at 5 a.m., 6 days a week, pouring gallons of coffee for myself. And then 2 months in, one of the other workers is like, that's decaf, right?
So come on, I was wondering why I was dragging.
That's the only job that I've ever quit by no call, no showing. So I've always quit amicably, and I've often stayed past my 2 weeks. But no, that was
not it.
Got home I was working 2 jobs. I was working Dairy Queen and that, and I just got home from Dairy Queen one night, and I just, you know what, Dad, I've missed too many parties with my friends this summer. I was 19,
Yeah.
He said,
I got things I want to do.
Yeah, I get it, son. What are you going to do? I don't know. You want to just unplug the phone because I'm not going into the nursing home tomorrow? Yep, sounds good. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, I worked at Dairy Queen in high school, and in the summers, I guess I only went back to Chesterton for one summer after coming to school here, and then got the fateful job at Baked when I was 19. Substitute delivery driving, and Jared promoted me about a year later because I needed hours in the summer, and he needed managers. So just kept on working, and all through school, that's all I really wanted to do because I was majoring in history and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was like, well, I'll just go to grad school and just get a PhD in history, of course.
Yeah, that's what you do.
I neglected to learn another language or make sure I had straight A's, so my grad school options weren't great right out of school. I had a good GPA when I graduated, but not the best.
Yeah, you still had some good experience though, as far as working in restaurants. I mean, the kitchen at nursing home, Dairy Queen.
It got me ready.
Yeah, you paid your dues for sure. Almost when you started, almost made it sound like you hadn't. Like you've got the industry respect for sure.
No, but I've never served tables, never worked at a full service, that kind of thing. And Baked was just it for me once I got here. And then once I graduated in 2009. I had that real oh shit moment. What am I gonna do? I have a degree. I'm not doing anything with it. Yeah. So our general manager at Baked had just quit because we were going through some hard times, and his line was kind of, "I'm too expensive for this place, so I'm just gonna go find a better job." And there was a lot of truth to that. I approached Jared and I was like, "Hey, I'm not in school anymore. I want to be your GM." And I was the number 2 underneath Rob, the GM at that time. I was like, "Hey, just promote me. I'll do it." Up, yeah. And he goes, "Man, we can't afford it. We can't afford any of this. I'm just going to have to do all this." And Jared was just stepping back in to take that. And I immediately just saw the door for me at Baked just shutting. I was like, I can't sit here and just keep working.
And not have anywhere to go.
And not be able to tell my family like, hey, we're going to move away and do another Baked, or, I'm not even the GM of this place, So I was also working at Pizza X at the time, just to get more income. And, that job is where it's at. And as long as you don't mind the hours, that's a great place to work delivering. So I went ahead and put in my 2 weeks with Jared. He understood why and all that. And he's like, I wish there was more room and all that. And I stayed for 8 weeks though. And then finally got real frustrated. And I was like, I'm out of here, man.
All right, yeah.
Like you gotta find a replacement. And then about 9 months later, I got that phone call from Jason while I was mopping the floor at Pizza X.
Okay, yeah.
So until then I was gonna just continue working at Pizza X full time, and I was trying to get into the rental market. So I was just gonna take all my tip money and buy a house and
rent it out,
buy another one and buy another one. But baked called. So
there you go. Now you're the cookie guy.
Yeah,
and one of the cookie guys.
Yeah, and I met my wife working there too. She got hired in the summer after I did, and literally she says she doesn't believe any of this, but literally I laid eyes on her once, and my best friend at the time was sitting next to me, and I said, that's the most beautiful one I've ever seen. I think I'm in love.
Oh man.
And about a year or so later we were dating, and we've been together ever since. So,
hell yeah, man.
So baked is life for me.
Yeah,
same way.
They were two of the managers that trained me when I came in.
Dude, that's so cool. Were they dating at the time when they trained you? Or
it was kind of a low key thing. It was
it
was like in the beginning. It was like in the beginning.
I don't know if it wasn't public knowledge, but you could tell. We're like, what's going on with these two?
Yeah. I mean, there's some managers were like, well, you kept coming in to get your paycheck every time she was working. Like, come on, man.
You need that excuse
going on.
You need that excuse to come through.
Exactly. I
love that. I'm going to take a really quick break, and we'll be right back. The Bloomington Town Planner is a community calendar owned and published by local residents John and Sharon Martin. Mailed out to Bloomington homes in December of each year, it features school schedules and community events. And don't forget the coupons at the bottom of the calendar. They'll save you money and help you decide on the next restaurant or retailer to check out here in the Bloomington area. Town Planner also has an online calendar, which can be found at townplanner.com. Make sure to sign up for their weekly e-newsletter so you can stay on top of all the fun events going on around town. All right, so the last things, I want to talk about where you like to go out to eat in town. But the one other thing I didn't touch on Baked was the moving from the building, because it was something we dealt with at the Chocolate Moose, from the beloved old stand into the new building and all the pros that came along with it, but all the character that got lost. I'm sure you dealt with that, moving from the house on 3rd to the building on Washington. What was that decision like, and what kind of spurred that on?
Well, so the decision was they were going to build an apartment complex there, so we didn't have much of a choice. But I love that old building. It had a lot of character. Like, that's where we both got that's where I got my only start at. That's where, we worked there for several years. We had decorated that, It was kind of like, that building was kind of anything goes. We got decorated however we wanted. Like, it had so much character.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and the walls had just people could go in there and I feel like just draw on it.
Draw on it, kind of like, that was literally kind of like anything goes, like, have fun.
Yeah, that was the epitome of Baked will be an image of the city that it's in. You know what I mean?
Well, did you notice when he pulled up Baked earlier, the image is still the house?
Yes.
On the main Google profile.
Awesome. We've thought about changing that over the years, but we're still so nostalgic.
I love it. No, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
It takes me back. We both, I'm pretty sure Chocolate Moose is right at a 4.6 too.
Nice. So, it's hard to get it higher than that, dude, without like juicing it, manipulating it.
You know what?
Can't be perfect.
When we were in the stand, we were at a 4.8. And so I feel bad that it's dropped 0.2 under my tutelage, or whatever you want to call it.
I will say, I don't think that's on you, because we've experienced slightly higher expectations since we moved to the newer bigger spot.
The stand, people were a little more forgiving when it was the old. We're like, they can see you working.
Yes,
I feel like that helps.
We used to get a lot of the story of you as a customer at Baked. When we were in that house was I ordered the other day. It took 3.5 hours to get to me. But what do you expect? They're in that little trap house, you know what I mean? Like that. What do you expect? They're in that crappy old house. Really?
Did you guys ever think about rebranding to Trap House Cookies?
No, that would be awesome.
I don't know if we get away with that one.
I know, that'd be funny though. That was like that they only operated for like 6 months. It was called like Trap Mics. They operated out of the One World.
They had good food.
Yeah, the food was really good. I ordered it a couple times.
I never tried it.
It was just some IU students. It was actually one of my buddy's little brothers.
That's cool.
That did it.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, fellas. Last but not least, where are your favorite places to go in town? We've spent a long time talking about Baked, but now we can show some love to some other places in town.
My go-to place is always Buffalo's. I love Buffalo's.
What's the go-to order?
I love wings. I love that Sweet Lou barbecue sauce.
Dude, same.
I normally go spicy. I always get like the Sweet Lou and the hot wings, and like hot is normally what I go to. Anywhere else I would go hot, but like That sweet, that barbecue sauce. I don't know what's in that.
It's just the
but
consistency of it.
it's amazing. And I worked there for a little bit.
Oh, so
Yeah, I worked there
when
for a
we
little
had our
bit.
chocolate mousse store there,
And
we
I
had storage
love that.
downstairs,
Oh my
downstairs, and on the box it says the ingredients.
Oh,
I told
man.
Ed too. I was like, I took a picture.
Like,
I was like,
uh-oh.
I was like, I don't know how to make
Dude,
it, but I know what the ingredients.
It's so good. And like I either go with I either get hot wings and Sweet Lew wings, or I get the Sweet Lew burger.
Dude,
Sweet
that
Lew
burger
burger
is
is
money. I man,
I could eat that every day, I think.
dude, it's so good. They that sauce. It's before I've talked about it. Before I moved to Bloomington, it was always the Upland tenderloin and the Buffalo's Sweet Q wings. Those are the
they're
two things
so
that I craved
good.
whenever I was down here visiting every single time.
And then I think Bloomington has amazing pizza as well. There's like a lot of pizza. I don't know if I have a favorite, but there's a lot of really good pizza in this town. And I'm a pizza person, so I love pizza.
Yeah, you guys partnered with, was it Pizza X?
Pizza
or Crazy
X,
Ever?
it was awesome.
Yeah,
And
but
I
you
ate
stopped doing
a lot
that?
of pizza.
Yeah, we eventually they kind of scooped us up during the pandemic when all those closures were rolling through. I called up Jeff one day and I said, "Hey, you know what? You're talking to everyone. What's everyone doing?" And he just ran with it and was like, "Well, I'm going to get chocolate mousse ice cream and I'm going to get your cookies and then he kind of realized like getting our cookies in there was going to be a pretty big endeavor, but he wasn't going to stop at that point, you know. So
Right, yeah.
he bought ovens for every store, the same ovens we use. We had to work out this huge logistical schedule with Jay over at the commissary. They would pick up dough from us after we were done making it on Thursdays, and they'd be delivering it to all their stores and all that. And we even had a bunch of our really great coworkers from before the pandemic, and us went to each of the stores and trained up all the staff and everything. And
Shout out to Jeff,
it was
man.
So
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, Jeff is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I remember, and
he's
I
an awesome
actually
guy.
saw this email the other day. I was looking for something where he emailed, I'm sure you guys, us, a ton of people said this was like day 2 or 3 after like pandemic fully hit.
Yeah.
And just said, hey, we're all like meeting on this Zoom.
Oh,
here,
yeah, I
like,
remember that. He was
noon,
great during that.
And like, hey, here's what we're doing. I'm not going to tell you what you should do, but like, this is what it looks like. And
yeah, he coached us all through like getting all of our folks on unemployment and stuff too. He's
Yeah,
like-
it was
he's like-
was awesome.
Yeah, he's like, you need to run payroll reports and tell them whether they need to claim this week or next week because it was the end of the quarter was coming,
Yeah.
and if you worked a bunch in that first quarter, you were going to step up your wage basis.
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, we were really trying to milk it for all of our employees because we were just like, we don't know when we're going to call you back, man.
Yeah.
Try
It's
to help
tough.
everybody out as much as we can because we care about everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, we went through that entire next year, and then I think into September of the following year with Pizza X, and then they were just getting. That was that year where nobody could hire anybody.
Right.
We had our turnover rate was, I'm not proud to say, 400%.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, we hired 500%. We hired 5 full staffs basically in 2022.
That's
it was
crazy.
from 21 to 22. It was insane. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was tough.
It was awful. Yeah.
That makes for a tough time too.
Yeah. And
Trying to train everybody and get everybody trained.
yeah, the end of it was kind of heartbreaking, but I totally understood. One day, Jay from commissary called me up at like 10 p.m. He's like, "Hey man, have you heard how busy our stores are?" I said, "Yeah, I heard you guys are not doing well. You know what's going on?" And he's like, "Well, we just made the decision as of 5 minutes ago. We're gonna stop selling your cookies."
Yeah.
He's like, "We just don't have the people for it. We can't get our pizzas out. We're running." I heard they were running for their first time ever at their campus store. They were running like more than 60-minute or 90-minute deliveries or something like that. And having worked there, I get that.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, man, it's been a good partnership. Thanks, guys. You know.
Yeah.
it was
It's hard
awesome
to
to
not
meet everybody.
understand. Yeah. You got,
Yeah, that was nice though, because I mean, yeah, that it was just nice. You know, that Pizza X has a reach that's probably 10x, you know, what our customer base is, or maybe more. You know, so it was nice getting our logo out there and of course our product out there.
Well, and for the bigger local guys to help the smaller local guys during the hardest time that you hopefully will ever face
Absolutely.
during your
Absolutely,
time
yeah.
of restaurant ownership.
It was much appreciated.
Yeah, well, and when we're there,
100%, like-
and when we're there training up their stores, you know, they made that decision to give all their people a 75% raise until that PPP money was out. Like, that's awesome. They're
awesome as a company.
Yeah,
That's a cool
yeah.
company. I think if anything
Yeah.
ever happened to Bake, that might be
You're
where
like,
I look
Jeff,
for
you got something for me?
Yeah, that might be where I.
mean, there's
go to.
probably 10,000 other uses for that money they could have thought of and still used it to benefit their reputation. But they won the pandemic with that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, you mentioned you met your wife at Baked. Do you ever get time to go out for a date night?
we're living the young kids and keep up with your career grind right now.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a 5-year-old who's starting kindergarten tomorrow. And a 16-month-old right now.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Heck
Yeah,
you're like date night, hilarious. Yeah.
What's that?
Jordan, you got jokes.
So so my wife's a teacher, so her life has just been hell the past couple of weeks as she's preparing for school to start, and she's starting grad school at the end of this month as well.
Wow, on top of teaching.
Yeah, and we just hey, maybe this is a idea for another episode for us for later, but we bought up one of our suppliers last year, Salt Creek Trading Company, and Jason broke his shoulder 2 weeks after we bought it.
Oh my God,
so,
that was really funny.
Yeah, we were gonna team handle it, but he broke his shoulder and was out for months and months. So I've been handling all Salt Creek. So I've even been kind of gone from baked for most of this year.
Really? Okay.
Too, so,
I had no idea because I had heard of Salt Creek Trading Company a while back.
Yeah,
I didn't know idea you guys bought them up.
Yeah. So no date nights for a little while, but
well, cool. I'm glad we got to show some love to Pizza X. Hear a little bit about both of your guys' stories. Quintessential Bloomington brand. You guys are just doing everything right. You guys are good vibes. Staff loves working there. I love going in there. We're gonna dive in it. You guys want to cheers one of these?
Absolutely.
We got to do this.
Why don't
Jake,
you
want to get in here?
Why don't you tell them what you made?
Yeah, we'll give a little preview to the Garrett? Oh yeah, what do we got here?
What we got here is these ones are chocolate chip. I put vanilla frosting on some of these. These are our classic s'mores cookies.
Perfect.
I put some caramel on some of those.
Oh yeah.
I got oatmeal raisin. These ones are oatmeal toffee, butterscotch. I put a little bit of honey on those.
Oh.
And this is probably one of my favorite. It's a peanut butter, dark chocolate chip pretzels, chocolate frosting, and then a Reese's cup on top.
Oh my goodness.
It's good stuff. There's so many things you can create. But
surprise cameo preview for next week's episode. Jake Fruiter from Hoosier Hills. All right.
Just snapped my 12-year-old son. I said, I'm sitting in here with the owners of Baked. He's like, no way.
Yeah.
You'll have to take him a cookie.
Yeah.
All right. Here, get on in here, fellas. Garrett, you getting in here?
Oh, yeah. I'm going traditional here.
There it is. All right. I went s'mores with caramel. Jason going with the one he was hyping up. Jeremy with the oatmeal
raisin.
And Jake with the regular chocolate chip. Garrett, you good? All right. Cheers, fellas. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yep. There you go. You can't laugh, Garrett. All right, here we go. There you go, little fella. Oh, what another great episode. Thanks so much to Season 7 presenting sponsor, Visit Bloomington. Check them out. Visit Bloomington.com. As always, keep those hands dry. This episode of the No Dishes podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.